Hey, Karli, what is happening, my friend?
What's happening? Derek, don't you know?
Mm, I might, but let's not ruin the moment. I have a feeling you can't wait to tell me.
What's happening is the AP Coordinator Back to School Workshop, our annual can't miss event of the year. It's time to engage with fellow AP coordinators in these free, interactive Zoom sessions. Registration is now open. Sign up for your preferred date and time.
The workshop is perfect for all AP coordinators, new and experienced. And interactive is the key word, not a recording, not a video. Our team of colleagues is live, ready to help, and ready to answer questions on the fly.
Bring it on. We'll be ready. And we love to hear from you. Register now. Link in the show notes. We can't wait to see you there.
Coordinated, episode 283, Spotlight, Stacy in Texas. Greetings, AP coordinators. Derek Cometa here, Senior Director, AP Coordinator Experience for the AP program and former AP Coordinator. Today, we are visiting a big state with a lot of big AP programs. Yep, we are visiting the state of Texas, and specifically Vista Ridge High School, where the AP coordinator is Stacy Steele. Hey everyone, it's Monday, July 7th, 2025. Thanks for joining us. It's so good to be with you here on Coordinated.
Good morning, Stacy. I hope you are enjoying your morning, and I'm gonna bet it's even better now because we are here on the Coordinated podcast.
Good morning, Karli. I'm so happy to be here. And yes, it's a beautiful morning. Ready for just sharing this moment with you.
Oh, thanks. Well, as you know, it's summer. And this summer, we are spotlighting different AP coordinators just across the country, asking them to share a little bit about themselves and their AP programs, a little coordinated podcast road trip, if you will. So, can I ask you, Stacy, to introduce yourself and your school for our coordinated audience?
Of course, happy to. So I am Stacy Steele, and I am the Dean of Instruction at Vista Ridge High School in Leander ISD, which is a little city kind of north of Austin in Texas. So we're kind of a big campus. We have about 2,500 students. Been doing this for around 6 years as a coordinator, but we are currently giving around 3,500 tests. So
Wow.
that number just keeps growing every year, and love every moment of it.
Oh my goodness, that I can't wait to talk about that. Thank you so much for sharing that. But before we get into anything AP related, we're already on a little road trip. So I wanted to take a trip back to your high school days. And I wanted to ask, like, what can you share with us about your own high school career, your journey?
So I went to a school that back in the day had literally one AP class offered. Very much there was the honors track and the advanced, but we only had one option for AP English. And I had no idea as a student what I was getting myself into signing up for it. But I remember kind of asking around, like, what is this AP test that we're taking? Don't think that my preparation may have been maybe as spot on as kids receive nowadays, but it was in the early days. I appreciated everything my teachers tried to do to help, but I do feel like, it was trying to figure out how to navigate that rigorous instruction and what does it feel like to sit for a high stakes exam. And honestly, that was probably the best experience that I could have had leading into college. And I did go to UT. And so feeling like I kind of had a little bit of that experience going to a big university like that was an important moment for me. It helped provide that experience before jumping into that big sea.
I love hearing that. And I think that's so important to sometimes put ourselves back in our students' shoes and remember what it was like for us. And I think that's where a lot of the good supports come in. So thanks for sharing that. So from there, how did you get to Vista Ridge High School? So from UT, how did that work out?
So I was a pre-med major, but quickly realized that I wasn't maybe wanting to become a nurse or a doctor. And there was this program, the You Teach program, and I really got excited about it kind of towards the end of my college career. And so I was kind of a dual major. I had a Bachelor of Science in Biology, but I also jumped into teaching. From there, I became a teacher and went to a small school in Seguin, Texas, taught there for a while. Just sciences, high school science, so chemistry, biology, those kind of classes. And then I, being from Austin, when I got married, I moved back. And so I ended up in the Leander ISD school district and really still focused on the sciences. And I had an opportunity, being a biology major, to teach AP biology. And
Wow.
I couldn't wait to get my hands on that curriculum and just and was excited to work with students with something I was so passionate about, which was biology, and kind of share that love for just learning and learning science, but connecting it to real world. And I think that AP curriculum really allows for that. And so also helping students prepare for that opportunity to sit for the test. It was just such a clear goal at the end of the class. And that resonated with me. It was like, there's something to aim for and be the cheerleader for students that maybe weren't recognizing their potential or ready for that risk, and being able to be there as a support and really cheer them on and say, you can do this. I'm going to walk with you through this. It's going to be great. Just trust me. And by the end of it, seeing their growth, I mean, to this day, happened last month. I get emails from students who are now obviously no longer students. They have graduated from various programs and they're on to big life events and getting married and, have careers and stuff. But they always reach back out and they say, how meaningful that experience was for them and that it stuck with them. And so even if it's not about the class and the content, it's about that whole person and just creating a love for learning and giving them that opportunity to grow.
And then, so now what is your role at Vista Ridge High School? So you're not teaching AP anymore, obviously, because you're the AP coordinator.
You're right. So now I am in a Dean of Instruction role. And as I moved from being in the classroom, I actually became an assistant principal first. And then from there, I had an opportunity to become the Dean of Instruction, which is also our campus AP coordinator.
Okay.
What is interesting about that is I kind of jumped into that role and probably didn't really truly understand all the ins and outs of what an AP coordinator did. I saw the AP coordinator before me, maybe on AP testing, like organizing, pushing, carts around with tests and buckets and working with proctors. Not really quite wrapping my head around it, going, sure, I can do that, no problem. But I was excited for the challenge and all the things that position came with. And then I was able to jump in the January of 2020. And we all know what happened in 2020. So as soon as I was ready to take the reins and I was prepping paper tests and all of that, we didn't come back to school after spring break. And so everything shifted to online. It just was a very unique time and the learning curve was massive, but I'm kind of grateful because paper tests at that time were a lot to take in, and I kind of had a moment to breathe and go, okay, it's going to be, digital, virtual. And now that we are virtual and digital, I feel like, well, I've kind of done it before. And so it was a neat little segue there.
That is such an interesting time to walk into being an AP coordinator. I remember those days well, and I think that there has been a lot of support from College Board as we've moved from there into where we are now. So it sounds like you took on this role and you were now the AP coordinator, and coming from being an AP teacher, you kind of had the knowledge of like what an AP class looks like and how it functions and what students are expected to do. But was there anything besides the fact that it was 2020 in the first couple of years of being an AP coordinator? Was there anything that came up that you didn't expect or that you were surprised by as the AP coordinator?
I think it really is a matter of the level of organization that I ended up putting into it, that you don't realize all the steps they start so early in the year and it goes all year. And so I think the piece I didn't maybe fully realize or understand is that it's not just in April and May. I mean, we knew that, but there's a lot of steps that happen, and it sort of starts in the summer and it just goes all year. It's cyclical. And also just the resources. I don't think I had, even as a teacher, any real true, like I knew pieces of it, but there are so many resources out there. And over the years, we've gained so many more. And it's just amazing. Like there are resources for just about anything. And, there's a question, there's an answer. Somebody knows an answer and there's a place to go find it for teachers and adults. And so I think the biggest thing is just, understanding the magnitude of all the bits and pieces and how they really come together to form that full cycle.
That is obviously so relatable. I'm like shaking my head this whole time. Absolutely. I think that is such an important part of when you're taking on the role of an AP coordinator, breaking it up and being able to take it in pieces and chunks as much as you can, and using those resources and webinars and supports that you can find through College Board to be able to support yourself as you're going through the process. So, Stacy, most of our listeners, hopefully, are comfortably into our summers. I think we are all reflecting on, or maybe not yet, but we will be reflecting on it at some point, our most recent AP exam season. And I know you run a big program. When you think about the challenges that you face as an AP coordinator of your program, of a big program, what would you say are some of like the key professional strengths or support staff that you use to help you succeed?
Really love that you're asking that, because I've been processing a lot as we end our AP test season and start thinking about starting over and reflecting and what things do we want to improve. So I think that one of the things that I really work on is systems. Make things so much easier. And like you said, chunking it, breaking it up, getting started early. And the more I do it, the more those systems become refined. And it does get easier. Like it really does. It's even though it's a big program on my campus and we have so many testers and so many participants in our classes, it's kind of a small piece of my job because of those systems. And it does take a lot of kind of front loading, but I know it's coming and I set aside time. And so being able to focus on from the ordering steps in the fall, cleaning those things up, making sure that I have done enough of the organization on that end to make it easier on the back end, then you end up in less, situations of trying to, at the last minute, clean things up. And then the people, I have great people on my campus, but I've had to learn who those people are and how to utilize them so that it's not extra, but that I'm truly utilizing their skills. I know every campus is a little different. We are able to hire proctors to help. And so that's been a benefit in my campus situation, to hire people that can help and assist. And they're repeat proctors. They love proctoring for us. So they come back year after year. A lot of them are retirees from our school. And so they kind of know our school and our campus systems. But even just how to use my admin team to help support students showing up and students getting their stuff and dropping it off, or getting signed in and checked in, to my counseling staff, to teachers that can help sign in students when it's not their test that they're giving, but maybe they're teaching the underclassmen version, or, a class that builds. And so we're creating that whole system of, we are all here to support this. So really just, tapping people in a way that is supportive towards the program, but also valuing them and what their skill set is, and being upstream.
That is such an incredible answer. And as a counselor, I love hearing that from someone on the admin team. I think if you are a counselor listening, or someone who is not an administrator who gives AP exams, I think that maybe having them listen to this part is really helpful, just to understand that it is such a system and there's so many people that go into it, and it's all to support our students, right? So if anyone can help, let's bring him on. Let's bring him on the team to get that help going.
Yeah.
That was amazing, Stacy. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to pivot a little bit. We are in summer. We're thinking about summer. We're trying to maintain that summer state of mind. So I'm going to move into some summer questions. So, Stacy, what is one of your favorite summertime treats or activities or something that just screams summer to you?
Okay, so I think of two things right off my head, and that is I love watermelon, and watermelon to me is refreshing summer, and love to have it with my family. We spend a lot of time on the boat on the lake, and so we'll take some watermelon with us, and that brings me to summer. And then the other part of that is we also have a fire pit in our backyard, and we like to do s'mores. And so I'm thinking summertime, family time, backyard, campfire, just, that's what I look forward to.
Yes, amazing. My son calls it watermelon.
Oh,
I'm like, never change the way that you say that.
that's so
Watermelon. Yes, but I agree that I love that one. And as a final question, this is my final question. I know we're talking about summer, but to remind us all why we do what we do and maybe give us some motivation to go sign up for a back to school workshop right now. Stacy, can you tell us what is the best compliment you've ever received at work?
Oh, goodness. I would say that it is the biggest compliment that I have received would be from a student who thought they couldn't actually be successful in an advanced placement class. Connecting them with their teacher and really helping that teacher connect to resources to help that student. And that student not only finished the course, and with credit, but they also sat for the test. And that was a really big deal. And the parents reached out to me to say, if you hadn't done that, my kid wouldn't have taken that risk. And now they're going off to a two-year college, which is a big deal. And not certain that they're going to get credit from the test, but just having that experience opens doors, even if it's just a door to them realizing their potential. And so I think we as coordinators have the opportunity to make such a big impact on our campuses and our students' lives by just providing opportunities, reducing barriers, and just being there to create the chance for them to experience that rigor and know that if they want to go do career or college, beyond, they can be successful if they have the right tools and they have the right opportunities.
That's beautiful. That gets me in the school state of mind. I'm still in summer, but I appreciate that so much. And Stacy, thank you so much for taking time out of your summer to talk with me here on Coordinated. I know there's a million things that you could be doing right now, but I can't thank you enough for sharing your experience and your insights with all of our listeners. And I hope that you do get to enjoy the rest of your summer, Stacy.
Thank you so much, Karli. Happy to join you. And yes, you too. I hope you get to enjoy some watermelon, or however he says it.
Thank you. AP coordinators, thanks again for joining us. We'll be back next week to talk about important questions that we educators often hear. How and why should I, a student that is, how and why should I take advanced high school classes? A great conversation is in the works. Don't miss it. We'll talk with you then. And for all our support of AP students, yep, our support. AP coordinators, we are truly good as gold.
And maybe I just don't know. I'll say it over and over and over again till I believe it's so. I'm good as gold.